Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I'm joined by
Hillary.
Sarah. I'm sorry, Sarah.
And Melissa.
and Melissa. We have a special guest today, actor, writer, Melissa Lee. Everybody welcome Melissa.
Yay! We love Melissa.
She's so cool.
We're very excited to have you on the show, Melissa.
And tonight she's wearing black contacts.
Yes, I had to be in character for our Halloween special.
Melissa is a horror expert.
She is.
And, well, you have
You've
directed
made-
a couple of horror films.
Yeah.
I have, yeah. I did the...
They're all really cool and scary and awesome.
Well,
and my friends are all murderers in them.
And she
Yes.
was in a horror film.
So we're very excited to have a horror aficionado and expert for our spooky October episode.
Hashtag spooky.
Okay, so tonight's film is Poltergeist, the 1982 original Poltergeist, not the hack bullshit remake that came out a couple years ago. This is the real
Curious
deal.
to see that one.
I have not
That
seen
was
that
the
one.
hack.
Look, I'm gonna be real
Shut
with
your
you.
face.
You liked it? You liked the
No, I
remake?
said, shut your face, Hillary.
Okay, so Poltergeist, 1982, written and produced by Steven Spielberg, also produced by, oh my God, her name's escaping me, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes.
Yes, Kathleen Kennedy, who has produced some of the most memorable films of since the 1980s, and is now the steward of the Star Wars property.
How old is she now?
Ooh,
Yeah, no, she's an incredibly prolific producer. Worked a lot with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and directed by Tobe Hooper, who recently passed away.
Yeah.
A week or two ago.
Oh, wow. That's timely and sad.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper also.
His name was Toby.
Yeah.
It's a cute name.
Wasn't it Tobe?
Well, no, it's Toby. It's
Toby.
Toby, but it's spelled T-O. It's spelled Tobe, but it's Toby.
Oh, that must have been terrible in grade school. Poor Tobe.
Poor Tobe. God rest his soul. He also directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A very different
Ooh,
film from
very
this
different.
movie.
Yeah, Leatherface.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that. I think there's
Yeah.
some pretty controversial reasons as to why that film is so different.
Oh my God, that movie. Sorry, it was a quick little side note. When that came out, I really wanted to see it. The remake, obviously.
Oh, the Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Hillary, I know you're 49,
Right,
but I didn't know that you had seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the movie.
But the remake one, and my mom got so mad at me because I got one of the movie posters and I put it up on the back of my door so she wouldn't know. And then one day she was like in my room, she closed the door and saw this poster, and she just like gave me a talking to.
Just a serious talking to.
She was very mad that I would want to see that movie.
Wow.
It's great. We should do it on the show.
I'm
It's
into
intense.
it.
I feel like your mom might have put like crosses in your room after she saw the poster.
Oh, probably. Most definitely. I think she probably replaced it with a full-sized crucifix.
And
just
then
to
you turned it
remind me.
upside down.
With my
Okay, you know
mind.
what's terrifying? A full-sized crucifix.
Oh,
know.
God.
I think
How do
they're
they
not
let
really giving
kids
it a
see
chance.
that?
I know, it's like you walk into church and there's a
Sunday, it's
guy
just
hanging on.
Suspended
Yeah,
from the
it's
sky
just
in front of
blood
With
dripping
thorns all down his
down.
face. Yeah,
Jesus, now that's a horror movie right there.
you. It's to scare you into being good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
got
need
it.
that to be good.
Yeah,
You
got it.
do. You
I got
have
it.
to live in fear.
Okay.
So Joe Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson,
Which I was also surprised by.
Craig T. I'm so ready to talk about Craig T. We'll get
God,
into
me
it.
too.
I'm so ready.
Love a good Craig T.
I love a good Craig T. Last time we saw him was in Troop Beverly Hills.
And
He was a little
so
bit
unlikable.
And he was such a
older.
wanker in that movie.
So
What
wonderful.
character was he in that movie?
He was the husband.
The
Yeah.
ex-husband
The
of Shelley Long's
like,
character.
not in it.
The one who
dad.
wore the linen suits.
Yes.
all
Yeah.
the
the
time.
white.
Yep.
A
Okay.
lot of storming around.
So we're sort of getting into it a little bit already, but before we get started talking about the film, let's go around the table and talk about everybody's experiences with the film prior to the podcast.
So, I had heard the name of this movie a lot growing up, but I only watched it the first time a few years ago, or maybe even like a year ago, and I've seen it twice since then, a third time for this podcast. But I liked it okay the first time, and I liked it more the second time, and I liked it even more the third time. I noticed some things that I didn't see before.
Yeah. Hillary's already shaking her head. We will convert you before this show is over.
I'm sure you will. You convert me on everything. I come in here hating shit all the time. And then you guys are like, but look how magical. And I'm like, you're right.
And if we don't convert you, we'll kill you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
a
true.
total sheep.
This is going to end with a human sacrifice.
Great.
Because it's the Halloween
I'm really
episode.
a sheep, so it's okay. You can sacrifice me.
Melissa, your experience with Poltergeist.
I would say the first time I saw this, I was probably like 7.
Okay, that's a good
Because
time. That's a good time.
my mom didn't monitor anything I watched.
Nice.
So it's probably VHS, I imagine.
Yes.
And my grandma actually had one of those creepy old box TVs.
So did mine.
And it really did turn to that static after.
Yes.
So I remember watching that, and then that summer going to my grandma's house and being really creeped out by her TV. I'm pretty sure I didn't watch TV for the rest of that summer.
Yeah. A good time to watch that movie. That was around the same time that I saw this movie. But I guess, well, let's Hillary, let's hear your experience.
Sure. I had never seen this movie, and I
And
told.
did you think it was a different movie?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I knew what this movie was. I was like, I saw one on the TV, and I told my mom that we were watching Poltergeist for the podcast. She was like, "Oh God, that movie's so awful." She was like, "I walked out of that. Your dad took me on a date to it. Wanted to like go to a scary movie." She's like, "The movie was fucking terrible," and just like walked. She just like left in the middle of it.
Dear.
So the whole time I was watching it, I was like trying to figure out what part made my mom walk out. And I have a lot of theories, but I know she didn't see the end of it.
Okay.
I
Well,
know she didn't because she would have said something about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a really special relationship with this movie.
I'm sorry.
You can't shake my faith. It's unshakable. My mom doesn't really love the style of horror movies that are out now as much. I think, although she does watch American Horror Story and that sort of thing. My mom loves horror. She loves Edgar Allan Poe. But she doesn't love incredibly violent, graphic movies. So I don't think she loves that kind of stuff. But she loves horror films, and we watched this together. This was one of the first. Like we'd watched older horror films, like The Haunting, and that sort of thing. And then this, when I probably was around 7 or 8, I think, when I first saw this movie, and we watched it together, and it was, a special let's watch a scary movie together thing. And we would get together and watch it from time to time. We had it on VHS. I watched it constantly. The neighbor kids and I watched it constantly. This movie is like deep in my soul. And it was a long time before I saw it more recently. Like I had watched it a lot when I was a kid, and there was a long period of time where I didn't see it. And then in the last couple of years after having children, I watched it again. And it had a whole new layer of meaning for me, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it on the show.
Yeah, when I watched it with Nicole, I got that feeling. Like I felt this empathetic kind of thing towards you, and I like saw it through your eyes, kind of. Yeah. As like a mom, and I'm not a mom, but I'm just mean like I saw it that way.
So Hillary's like, I dare you to make me like this movie. Maybe it was a bad date. Have you ever considered that it was just a bad date?
No, like I was like ready for this. It was during the storm, like the threat of the power going out. Like
I mean,
ready
your
to
mom
watch,
and
like,
your
a good,
dad.
scary
Like, have
movie.
you ever considered that maybe it was just a bad date?
Oh, it might have been. Probably was.
Or she might
that
have
was
been
when
in
my
a
dad was drinking.
She might have been in a bad
so
mood.
he was
like
so he was more fun back then.
Oh.
Just kidding.
That's
I'm
a
kidding.
word for it.
Sometimes when I'm in a bad mood and I see something, I will not like the movie, but it won't be because I don't actually like it. It'll just because I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't like the movie.
No, it's okay.
We'll
It's
see.
okay.
It's
It's kind of good when we disagree on things. I think it makes for interesting conversation. All right. So that was our experience. That was our experience with the film Poltergeist prior to the podcast. So let's get into talking about this movie.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man. You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York. Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay. Poltergeist, 1982. We kind of talked a little bit about who's in the film. So, shall we talk about this movie? Right off the bat, I feel like it has all the Steven Spielberg things. We've got people on bikes. We've got a fellow riding around with some beer. We get introduced to all the
Yeah.
people in the
I
family.
liked the
Well,
guy
actually,
riding
wait.
around with
I'm
the
sorry.
beer.
It actually
He's
starts
funny.
with the TV. It starts with the
starts with the
TV.
national
with the
anthem.
national
Yeah,
Some
you're right.
close up of the
Yeah.
TV at the. This is like the end of the day, when the TV stops.
Which
TV
used
goes
to be
off
a
the
thing
air.
that happened, before we had 24-hour television and internet. The TV did go off at a point, and it would just go to snow.
Yeah, my grandma's TV actually on whatever station it was on or whatever. A Native American man would come sit in the middle of the TV on a white background.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Nope,
Yes.
that's terrifying.
It was.
Well, no, it wasn't like a man. It was like like a cartoon.
Yeah,
It was like a still
That's
image.
still terrifying.
Like it's not like a man would sit there and stare at
No.
you live.
That's what I'm picturing. It's
staring
like an
back
actual
at you.
person like sitting there Indian style, just like swaying a bit. Like every now and then they
no,
nod
it was
at
just
you.
it was just there.
He's like, "Don't you think you should be going to bed, little girl?"
no.
So,
But-
yes, go ahead, Hillary.
My
please.
whole thoughts during this were that one, I think I'm gonna have a seizure from the lights that are pulsating out of my TV all of a sudden.
Oh, because of the snow on the thing.
Yeah, on the TV. Yeah. I was like, snow? When did it snow?
We used
Gotcha.
to call it
Oh,
snow.
Hillary's so young.
Guys, stop it. I'm a baby. Anyway, these kids, like, they don't fucking wake up for this. I used to wake up all the time when that happened to my TV as a kid, like when I was sleeping in my mom's room and like it rolled over to the static. It was like immediately I would just like woke up and was like, that was abrupt. It got very bright and loud in here.
Yeah. I think this whole family are just heavy sleepers.
Heavy
must
sleepers.
They are like sedated the whole
Like,
film.
Right now, I wake up when like I hear a car door like next door at my apartment, and I'm like, I'm
So this
awake.
movie would have been over
Someone's
real
trying-
fast if you had been in this family.
Oh yeah, I would have just like woken up immediately and been like, "There's a demon in the house. Get some sage."
You just
Get
grab
some
your cross.
sage.
Not today, demon.
Yeah.
We've got to sage this shit.
Oh,
Come on, Mom.
Not a cross. No, come on. Be real. I'm gonna grab my friends. We're gonna come over.
Gonna
we're
put some crystals out.
Yeah, we're gonna put out our crystals. Say a couple spells.
Yep.
Cast it out of my house.
Yep.
It's the whole process.
So,
before.
so
I
right
know,
off
I
the
wish I was
bat,
lying.
we're dancing around it, but right off the bat, we get it. We get this scene where everyone is asleep. We've got Dad's asleep in the chair. Mom's asleep in her very fancy nightgown.
Very. Yeah.
I don't trust
Again.
moms who look that hot when they're
Look,
sleeping.
Jo Beth Williams is a treasure.
She is.
Yeah. She was great.
She was incredible and gorgeous and like all the things that
Her
I'm
hair
not.
was
The
incredible.
whole film.
The
I
whole
would
time.
like to
I
say
want her hair.
that my mom legit had hair like that without
my
doing a
God.
damn thing.
I mean,
Like she just woke up and her hair looked like that.
I think we all wish we could have Jo Beth Williams' hair and her. Like she's just all around gorgeous.
Like I would
that
just
woman.
scalp her and wear that as a wig. Like
Whoa.
it would look so good on me.
We'll be getting calls from Jo Beth Williams lawyers.
That's just a saying,
worry,
right?
I
I
don't
would
know where
scalp
you-
her
I
and
would
wear it
scalp
as a
her.
wig.
I would
like,
sca-
just like
That's a fucked up saying if it is.
It's the Halloween
It is Halloween. That's
podcast.
true.
So it's
Come
okay.
on, guys. I'm allowed to be creepy. I'm playing with like a weird skeleton.
That's true. We
hand right
do
now.
have Melissa brought Halloween decorations. We've got skeleton hands and spiders and
Little
rats on the
tiny
table.
rats.
And I
Yep.
keep looking
And a
at
skull.
Melissa with her creepy contacts, and they're so
Yeah, Melissa's
scary.
she dressed up. She's got
Yeah.
contacts,
black lipstick.
the whole deal.
Yeah. it's great.
So mom's asleep. Daughter Dana, 16.
She looks
she's
like
asleep.
she's like
I forgot she was in this
13.
movie.
She's not
Like,
in the movie a lot.
I just
Um,
like forgot she existed. Here's
Robbie,
Caroline.
the brother who's 8, also asleep. Carol Ann gets out of her bed. And she's 5, right? She goes downstairs and she begins speaking to the television. So this is the
It was,
first
like,
scene of the movie.
Screaming at the television.
Well, she was she
Yeah.
wakes everyone up with the
Yeah.
screaming
Yeah.
because she's out yelling at the TV. The TV is snow. She's sitting in front of the TV. It's sort of blinking in front of her face, and she starts talking to it, but she's saying she can't hear. Speak up! I can't hear you! I can't hear you! And she's screaming, and that wakes up the entire family, and they walk downstairs and sort of watch
And
her.
just stare at her.
Well, it's wouldn't it be
Like-
fucking weird to you? Like,
I would
mean,
just
I would
assume
not.
that child is having a night terror and run to it.
Well,
Like,
she's
Yeah.
not upset.
They're just-
She's having a pleasant conversation.
I don't know. She's answering questions, which I want to know what they were asking her.
yeah, exactly. Like demons.
Okay,
At
right off
first,
the bat,
immediately. No, that's demons.
I gotta tell you, kids do some fucking weird things. Charlotte used to have conversations with no one.
Have you burned?
Well,
sage
then
in
you
this
should
house?
probably definitely
Not
burn sage.
here.
She's
I mean,
rid of
not
some
not
demons.
lately. When she was around that age. Well, younger than that. When she was around 3 or 4, I'd be driving around and Charlotte would be talking, and I would be like, I would interject, like she'd be talking about, oh yeah, and I did this, and then we had this for breakfast, and I'd be like, what was that, honey? And she's like, I'm not talking to you. With that attitude.
I also think that that's just maybe Charlotte too, because I think Charlotte.
But kids talk.
Charlotte had
friends.
conversations with no one for like a year, and you just kind of you just think it's a weird thing. You just think it's honestly. There's some questionable behavior in this movie. I agree, but the thing that happens in front of the TV, while eerie, if I were a parent, I would just.
You'd be like, whatever. They stick their finger in their butts.
Exactly.
They do weird shit.
I mean, kids sometimes talk to imaginary friends. You can't see me at home, but I'm making quotation marks. But kids talk to imaginary friends, and it can be creepy, but if they grow out of it, you don't really think too much of it. Personally, I'm just saying, like as a person who's experienced that.
I don't have children.
They grow into writers. Like I didn't talk. But I had
mediums.
But I had stuffed animals that I would
talk
to, and I make them talk to each other, and then I ended up growing up to write scripts and stuff, and that's how you like start to. And
then you would hold auditions for them, and then some of them wouldn't get a call back, and they'd get really upset.
Yeah,
they'd threaten to burn your house down.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So that's our intro right off the bat. And then we spend a little bit of time getting to know the family after that, where we go into the next morning. I really feel like this film does a good job. This is something that films in this time period did that I feel like films in this time period don't spend enough time doing, which is setting up the characters and their relationships and letting you get to know them. So there's
introducing
of them just kind of being themselves. And that's something I think this film does well.
Without focusing on the plot. I feel like a lot of films just like jump straight into this is the conflict, like, you know.
Yeah, there's little hints of it because of course we had the TV thing happen right off the bat, but in the next morning everybody's getting ready for school, the kids are bickering at the table, they've got some really gross construction workers over who are digging a pool.
Really gross.
I'm concerned about
the construction workers.
What? She looks like she's 13. Like she doesn't look like she's 16 or even close to being an adult. And they're like, hey.
And mom is just laughing. That concerned
I know.
me.
Yeah, that was a real fucking creepy part. So there, Dana is 16 years old. She's wearing it's not a short Catholic school. It's a very respectable knee-length Catholic. Yeah, not that a short skirt would invite that commentary either, but it's not even like she doesn't even look cute.
But she doesn't have she doesn't look like voluptuous or like womanly. She looks like a
fucking child. But yeah. So she's walking off to school. So this is where we get a sense of her where she's kind of like a free spirit, I guess, where the construction workers are like catcalling her in her own backyard. Like she's getting on her bike to ride off to school and they're catcalling her and she gives them the finger and then her mom just
big
laughs.
like 3-part.
Oh yeah, it was an extended
right. I really enjoyed that whole sequence.
I thought she was about to start doing the Macarena.
Right? It did look a bit like that. But to be fair, these guys are like eating, like they're so gross. They're like opening the window and like eating off of the plates that are like on the counter.
Dishes on the stove, super gross.
He was like eating out of the soup she was cooking on the stove.
It was really nasty.
Also, like, why is there just soup on the stove?
I don't know.
It was like beans.
It was like,
it wasn't soup. It was like sauce. He was eating sauce.
In
I
that
thought it was
giant
beans.
pot though? Like,
yes, you make sauce in giant pots.
Was it gravy, you think? I'm just trying to decide what part of the meal that was for. I don't understand.
Like a chili pot.
That's what I thought.
Or like a crab
and who
boil
just
pot. Like who needs that much sauce?
In the morning.
Right, who's making beans in the morning? It seems like an odd choice. We see Steven getting ready. That's the father, played by Craig T. Should we talk about Craig T? Should we talk about him at all right now?
He's cute.
How he's a hot dad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I just kept picturing him as the gross grandpa from Parenthood.
I didn't see. I knew him as Stephen Freeling before I knew him as the dad on Parenthood. But I did not care for him in Troop Beverly Hills. But
but he was a dick in Troop Beverly Hills.
He was. I'm sorry, he's so hot. Why is he so hot in this movie? Like he's the hottest dad. What is that?
I didn't feel that way.
No.
But also I don't like him. in this movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where do you like him?
He's just not essential.
He's not essential. Oh,
He
wow.
really isn't. To the
No.
But isn't that
do anything?
isn't that
That's true.
a refreshing
It
change?
is.
It is.
It
which
was
I think
wonderful.
we'll get into when we get deeper into the plot. But I would agree with you, and I think it's refreshing that he's kind of a side character that is just not he's not the protagonist.
No, he's not. And I
Which
found
I love.
myself yelling at the TV a lot with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he does do a lot of fucked up stuff, and he kind of makes things worse in a lot of ways. But also, like, I don't know, I like how he just gets he's all like sad,
Yeah.
He
upset.
cries at some point.
and he like. I don't know. I love a man. I'm not a traditional woman, but there's something about when a man like lifts you up and carries you. I don't know.
I get that.
I don't.
get
It's
that.
like a thing. Chris has a bad back, so it's just not a
just
thing
not
that we can do.
happening.
Yeah.
But it's something that I fantasize
I
about.
get
I'm not
that.
gonna lie.
I get that.
Yeah, I was always too tall and too big for anyone to lift me up.
I mean, I can try.
I bet you could.
She
Melissa.
probably
Melissa's
could.
really
Boxer.
strong.
bet she
Yeah,
could.
Melissa could probably pick all three of us up and then squat.
Yep, and just
you know?
like squat and like spin us around like a basketball.
That's exaggeration.
Well,
I don't think it is.
You're like superhuman.
my ex was actually super strong, and he used to like lift me like over his head and do like, you can't see what I'm doing, but like
bench
like-
presses.
like bench presses
Yeah.
with me.
You know, we also find out there's the neighbor, and they've got this whole rivalry with the neighbor and the TV, and like there's a lot of cute little things that I think happen
Yeah.
in this beginning. And it doesn't feel too long to me.
No.
No.
Hillary.
No, I really enjoyed how
No,
they
I
set
enjoyed.
it up.
This is the part where I was like, this movie's fine.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next part, which is we get the storm. We get the storm, the first storm,
Yeah.
which is which starts out innocuously enough. They put all the kids to bed. Dana is on the phone in her
They're-
bedroom,
Yeah.
and the parents are just
blazing
Blazing up in the bedroom.
blazing up a J.
And she is bogarting that J so hard. She never
Didn't she
passes
roll
it.
a new one too?
She did because he couldn't
He
roll
couldn't-
his.
yeah, he couldn't do
He
it.
spilled it all over the
Well,
bed.
that's a Reagan voter for you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, he was
know,
definitely reading the
know.
Reagan book.
And I don't even care because he's so hot
I know.
that I don't even care that he voted for
I
Reagan.
cared
Yeah.
so much.
That's why she hates it.
She's like, and now fuck you.
Yeah. I hope the spirits eat you.
Yeah, we see like mom and dad, or I guess we should just call them, you know.
Craig D.
So Diane and Steven they're having fun. Even though they've got 3 kids, I don't know how they do it, but they're having fun.
Yeah. Smoking weed in the house.
Smoking weed, flirting a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
having a good time, and then and like smoking weed even though all the kids are still probably awake. Like this is something
Yeah.
you could
Yeah, they
not
like
do today,
just
basically.
put them to sleep.
Like DFAX would be on your ass
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of an episode of Parenthood where one of the characters gets drunk and he has a son, and then he ends up having to like take care of the son, and like
It was Crosby,
his-
right?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
his mom, no, someone is like, you were a parent 24/7. You were never off the clock.
That's true though. I mean, they're a real bummer, those kids. You can't
really are.
party like you used to
Yeah.
Well, I like
unless you're in the 1980s.
when the little boy comes in because he wakes up. Or I don't know. Maybe
She
he
takes
never,
one
she
last
takes
hit.
one
Yeah.
last
I
hit.
love
She's
it.
like, oh shit.
Hey, sweetie.
Oh, great.
Right. Can we talk about how she's like fucking perfect in every way? Like we were watching this movie and like the kids are acting like fucking monsters at the table. I don't want to go back to that scene, but I just want to say
yeah.
like I am like a fucking banshee compared to her. Like I don't look good in those. I don't look good in shorts. I don't
do.
I don't have hair like that.
Right.
And I don't wear negligee to bed, and I yell at my children constantly. Like
She
all I
maybe should
do
have yelled at those kids. Maybe then Carol Ann wouldn't have summoned so many demons.
Well, she's so like patient. She doesn't seem upset
'Cause
that
she's
she's
high.
got a clean.
she is so
This must be
stoned.
why. If I smoked weed, I feel like I would be a better mother. Don't you think?
You might.
I would be so
possible.
chill.
There are a lot of moms who smoke weed.
Maybe if I was high, I would not scream so much.
Maybe not. You'd probably just be like, "It's fine, bro."
That's fine,
Leave
bro.
that
Whatever.
yogurt container there.
You can stick your finger in your butt. I don't care.
It's fine.
You do
Go rub it
you.
on the couch.
You do you. Anyway, so Robbie interrupts them. There's a storm happening. Robbie is having some trouble going to sleep.
Deeply afraid of the tree and the clown.
Well, he's got the tree outside the door, but also he has the world's most terrifying clown in his bedroom.
So scary. Like, why would you have that for a child?
Why does anybody have that at all?
Don't you think they like probably made that and designed it specifically to be scary for this film? Like
No.
they didn't
For sure.
find it somewhere. Like they made it for this film.
There's no way that's like a child's toy.
I've seen a lot of scary children's toys. Like,
That
have you
thing
ever
looked
seen them when they get like
demented.
dirty and old? Like, they're scary.
Well, then when they
Like, if
get
that's a
dirty and old, I
hand-me-down
just
toy-
want to snuggle them when they get dirty and old.
I feel like if that was
You've
my
never
toy, I
seen,
would have
like, an
just buried
old
it
baby
in the
doll.
backyard.
Bury the clown.
Yeah,
Why do they have it? Like,
If
why is it in
he's
there?
so terrified of it, why wouldn't you just
Yeah.
get
But
rid of it?
also, it looks like it will murder you.
It really
Well, it
does.
tried.
It's scowling. I know.
It did try.
Anyway, Robbie's upset. He's scared of the storm outside. Let me just say, I had a very old oak tree when I was a kid that was right outside my window.
Was it that dead? Did
It
have leaves
wasn't,
on it
but
still?
it had one single branch that had grown directly into my window.
fucking
And when there was a
worst.
storm,
Or like tap it.
No, that's
it would
so
scratch.
scary. Why
it would
didn't you?
just
Why didn't you tell your mom
scratch
to
on
go
my window?
cut?
I did. My mom
it.
was. I was like, Mom, it's gonna eat me, like the
God.
tree in Poltergeist. And Mom was like, oh, that's just a movie. Come
I
on."
would have taken matters
Oh my
into my own
god!
hands.
I would have
cut
if
it
you were
off.
my kid, I would have like cut that branch myself.
I mean, it was really high up. I'm sure she would have done it if. I mean,
Just
you wish
lean
she
out
would
the
have.
window and snip.
She would have had to get like a tree crew out there.
Yeah.
Do it. I
Don't
do
know
it for
where
my
you find
child.
one of those.
He's tree service.
Like
I
No, they don't sponsor us. Not until they sponsor us.
right. They only give us rehearsal space.
Okay.
I
Well,
would
then
not
yes,
want
Heath's
that
Tree Service is who
now.
you should call.
Yeah.
America.
If you're in the metro Atlanta area, inside 285 above,
They take care of
I-20.
demonic trees.
We do. We do. We'll prune your demonic tree.
Prune it, or maybe rip it up from the root and like sage the area.
Yeah.
I think is probably what you need to
probably.
do. Anyway, but we're not quite there yet.
Sage is extra.
Sage is
Yeah,
extra.
the sage does cost extra. That's a private service that I offer.
You just come back on your off hours and
Yeah.
just over the hole.
Just
Um,
burn some sage outside.
so-
Neighbors love me.
But we're not quite there yet. He's right now. There's just a storm, and Robbie's upset, and his dad goes in there, and I thought it was very sweet. Lays with him in bed and tells him that I did this when I was a kid. If you've got thunder, you wait for the lightning, and then
I did too.
you
But
count.
it's a real thing. Like
Is it?
yeah.
I'm pretty
It is
sure it's real.
It's like the
Yeah.
first way you teach kids about meteorology, basically.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Yes, because
Light travels
the
faster.
lightning,
Yeah.
and so if it's further away, then the light will still get at the same time, but the sound of it will be farther away, so it'll sound,
okay.
more time past
The
the
same
light.
way with farts.
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
pretty sure
if you
that's the
smell
physics
it
of that.
and then if you hear it and then you count until you smell it,
Yeah.
Then
it's getting further away.
that's
yes.
that's
That's
how many
science.
beans that person has eaten that,
that
day.
is science, Nicole.
Science,
I don't want to
motherfuckers.
try that experiment.
Well,
Don't worry, guys. I haven't.
now that you live
eaten
with a
any
dude,
beans.
you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find some way.
You inhale so many night
protect-
farts and you don't even know it because you're asleep.
I probably. I think, yeah.
So many night farts.
Hashtag night
Brian's
farts.
gonna hate you guys.
No.
He's
Brian,
gonna be like,
it's okay.
actually,
We
I'm
He's
the
like,
one.
he's like, actually,
all night
Melissa's the one
fart.
with night farts.
Probably we all night fart, guys. I hate to break it
Oh
to
no,
Yep.
not like my husband does.
you. Oh, I'm sure his are special.
No, his body is like a dumpster.
Oh, so is mine. Like late at night when I'm alone. Ugh.
I feel like if the two of you
gross.
were in the same room and farted,
That
there would be
room
like
just explode.
everyone would immediately die.
I think your flesh would just like strip off your
Flesh
body.
would just fall right off to the bone.
It's a noxious.
Anyway, so I also really love how Carol Ann is like so cute. She's like on the fake phone and she's like, "Daddy, it's for you," and he's like, "Take a message for me, sweet pea." I just thought it was so cute.
I'm not ready to play with you just yet, sweet pea.
No, don't make it weird. Why would you do that? Why would you ruin my fantasy?
Sorry, guys. That's him choosing not to engage with his daughter. Should have played with her.
Well, it's nighttime. They have to go to sleep. He's got to get back and bone his wife.
You're right. You're right.
Very important.
He's got back in
She's
the
rolling
mummy.
a J for him. He's like, gotta get in there.
He's got to
Your
get
dog
in
is
there.
licking
He's
my
got to
foot
get
right now.
those.
It's so weird.
Jack is? Okay. My dog, everyone. Not my husband.
Yeah.
So Robbie tries the counting thing, doesn't work, and then we have a smash cut to all of the family is now in the bed with the parents.
Yeah.
So that nookie sesh
Ended quick.
did not happen.
Yeah.
So this is when we get this the first really, I think, the really big event, the first big sort of paranormal event that happens, and that's like in the middle of the night. Of course, the TV goes to snow again. Carol Ann wakes up. She goes to the TV, begins speaking to the TV, and then a hand comes out of the TV.
A light hand.
Yeah,
Like a
light
misty hand.
like a misty
Yeah.
hand, and there's and sort of goes into the wall and
Like a beam of laser.
right.
Right, but all that wind starts flying out of the TV, and they don't wake up.
Well, they woke up when
know.
the house started
When
shaking.
it started
Like
shaking.
earthquake type thing.
I don't know. If your hair was blown around all in your face, I feel like you would wake up.
I guess. I mean, yeah, maybe. I think it's a really cool scene though.
It
I
is a
love the
fun
way her
scene.
hair blows around. It's very, the shooting of this movie is really great, I feel like.
It is really good.
I get you with some of the effects, Hillary. They look a little dated. They don't really hold up, but they were like very good for that time. But it's hard. It's a little. I accept them because I remember watching them when it was that time period, and so they looked impressive at that time.
Yeah.
I agree with you. They don't really hold up now, but I still think the shooting of this film is very
I think
good.
the shooting is
Yeah.
really good.
So this is when we get the very. My dog is padding around. This is when we get that very iconic moment where the spirits passing into the wall creates this sort of like earthquake, what they perceive to be an earthquake.
Yeah.
And this is when everybody wakes up and Carol Ann turns and says to them, "They're here." And that's like sort of the big tagline from the movie. This is when shit really gets real. So
Yeah.
there's another storm. It's a real bad one.
Is this the third storm?
This is the second storm.
Okay, we're still on the set. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting
We're
there.
setting up for the second story.
So this one's real bad, and Robbie is counting, and it's not working. The storm is getting closer and closer and closer, and he is looking out the window, and the tree is looming, and he's getting more and more frightened, and then finally
Tree is
the tree bursts through the window
Snatches.
and snatches him.
with like both its branch hands.
Which is
Yeah.
branch hands. Hashtag branch hands.
Right. Hair. They were like hairy.
They were like hairy
they
branch
were
hands.
weird.
I don't know what was going on there. It was like from Lord of the Rings, those walking
Yeah,
tree
Yeah,
the
yeah,
creatures.
ends.
yeah.
That's exactly what I felt like happened.
I mean, it was legit terrifying. Like he snatches up this little boy.
Yeah, it was like Whomping
he
Willow
like he snatches up this little boy. He's screaming. Carol Ann is screaming. The parents,
I'd be
come
totally
running
chill.
in.
they come running in.
Joint still in hand.
Yes. And there was
Really?
one-
Actually, no.
No, there
I
was
know
one in
this
his
scene.
ear, behind his ear, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't
At one
notice
point
that.
in the
I
movie,
was
yeah.
just totally making that shit up.
No, it was.
I just assumed.
Also, like, I love.
Well, no, they were putting calamine lotion on because of the mosquito
Mosquitoes,
bites that
yeah.
they got at the neighbor's house.
Oh,
Remember, she was
yeah.
putting calamine
Yeah.
lotion on him.
I love though that in this movie, because like a lot of films are like, if they're kids, the adults are like the responsible ones, and they're like the lame adults. But in this movie, it's like they're real people.
That's
like,
realistic to me.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like they leave Carol Ann in the house.
Is that?
They
I had a
do.
problem with this. I am not a parent.
Yeah.
You're the only parent here.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing that would happen?
You know, it's hard to say, and I'll tell you why.
Well,
Here's the thing. I can't tell you how I would act if a tree were eating my son. But I have to imagine that it's pretty traumatic. And the tree doesn't just take him, it opens up its tree mouth and
Yeah.
starts eating him.
And he's screaming.
And
bloody
he's
murder.
screaming, and Craig T is climbing up the tree trying to get him out. Dana, the older daughter, is down there as well. I think it's just so hectic. And you're like, I think when you have a child in jeopardy that you're very focused on what's going on.
yeah.
with that
makes
child.
sense.
But also shit just happens. Like, I cannot tell you how many times my youngest, Elliot, who's 2, has just escaped.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just using the bathroom. I'm just going to get my purse, or like I'm on the playground at the elementary school and I'm watching the baby. Suddenly another child comes up to me and says something to me. I look at them for a second, and then before I knew it, Elliot's running into the street. Like, shit just happens. And you want to think that you're going to make the right decisions all the time.
But it's just not going to happen.
But I think in that situation where you're under duress and your instinct is your like survival instinct because you're focused on this child, your son who's being eaten by a tree, I can see how you might forget.
Yeah, you might forget
that
about your
there's
other one.
somebody
Okay.
else in the house because you're not expecting the house to be dangerous.
Right. But except for they were kind of warned because the poltergeist
Yeah.
is moving things
But
downstairs.
she's not afraid of that. She thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Craig T is not okay with it. But again, they're very focused on rescuing their son from this tree
From
boy
this demon
eating tree.
Yeah.
Sexist. I'm sorry. Keep going.
The tree is definitely a meninist for sure.
Rude.
So, and it's gross. Like when they finally, like eventually, Steven gets him out. So while they're gone, so really, honestly, the tree is just a distraction. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done exactly what the poltergeist have done exactly what they wanted to, which is they have used Robbie as a distraction.
Yeah.
And the real person they want is Carol Ann. So while they're gone, and this whole scene with the child, Robbie screaming, and he's screaming for his parents, and Carol Ann screaming for her parents, screaming "mommy," like it was all very upsetting for me.
I'm sure.
But the closet door opens and a light comes, and like I love this scene. It's so great.
It is shot so beautifully.
Yeah, and all the stuff is getting sucked towards, and it's so simple in a time when effects were all had to
Yeah.
be practical. It's just everything being dragged slowly as though there's like a very powerful vacuum sucking.
And she's
everything.
holding on for dear life, and you see her little footed pajama feet kicking, and then her little fingers start falling off, like her
she's holding
grip,
on so hard.
and then
The
she didn't
wicker
lose grip.
breaks.
It's the wicker.
It's
the
the
wicker
wicker
bed
broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister had a bed just like that with that wicker headboard.
Wicker bed.
Exactly.
did she watch?
It was
this
the
movie?
80s, man.
God, wicker.
There was
scourge upon the earth.
Dude,
Yeah.
there was so much wicker in the 80s, and it was not even a thing you just had outside. It was an indoor thing.
It's bad.
Wicker,
Wicker.
tables.
Golden Girls, isn't that the 80s?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
wicker,
wicker
beds, wicker chairs, wicker bookcases.
We had big wicker chairs, the ones that kind of look like thrones.
We had those
we
too.
had those big ones with the
Yep.
nice pillows.
Yep. Wicker. It was a lifestyle choice in the 80s.
It wasn't just for like the
Interesting.
beach look.
No, it was not.
Oh my god.
So I guess what you're saying is when we decorate the critical crop top offices with wicker.
No
No?
wicker.
Okay.
Wicker
No.
desks.
Wicker with like
desks.
pink and gold. I can see it now.
They're like office chairs. They go up and down like office chairs, but they're made of wicker.
God. Nightmarish.
So in a truly horrifying situation, while the family is distracted, Carol Ann is sucked into the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the fucking clown, guys.
Yeah, the clown goes.
With the
sucked in
clown.
there.
It's very smart. The clown goes in first.
Yeah.
They set it up. The clown goes in first, and then Carol Ann is sucked into the closet after the clown. And there's a reason for that because they get back to that. So after that has happened, this is when Steven is finally able to pull his son out of the jaws of the tree.
The one thing
Yeah.
he was able to help with in
I know
the
that's
movie
like
Yeah.
one
was
of
to
the
pull
only
the
thing
son
he
out.
did.
That
Can
was
he-
it.
Yeah, I know. He's just a so he pulls Robbie out of the tree, and it tries to grab the kid one last time with like a vine or something, and he unleashes the vine, and then like once they get the son, they're like, he's like, where's Carol Ann? And Diane's like, oh my god, I left her inside, and they run through the house. At this point, they think she's just. Well, actually, they get to the bedroom, which is their first clue that the
Yeah.
bedroom is fucked up. Like everything is pushed up
fucked
against
up.
the closet. All the mattresses have been stripped.
Yeah.
Like that would be your first clue that there's. I mean, I guess your first
Maybe
clue
your
would be
daughter's
the.
been sucked into a vortex inside the closet.
I
it's
guess
just
your
a
first clue
logical
is the boy
conclusion.
eating tree.
Yeah.
that something is
I mean,
amiss.
logical conclusion.
But yeah,
Kidnapped
the
by
bedroom
ghosts.
is just empty. So they go in there, and this scene I think is really heartbreaking too. They're like tearing away all the stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they have
Yeah,
that little moment
it
where it's just
was.
that blanket and it looks like there's a body under it.
Yeah, they
and
think
the-
she might be dead.
Yeah,
And it's the fucking
everyone.
clown.
And that's that clown. I'm gonna name that clown Terrence.
I think
Too
that's
sure.
appropriate.
It makes
Terrence.
it less triggering for me
Yeah.
that we give it a name.
Terry for short.
Terry.
No, Terry makes it creepy again. Just stick with Terrence.
Just Terrence.
Stick with Terrence. So at this point, they think she's hiding somewhere in the house. Again, I think a beautifully executed scene. They're running through the house. They're screaming her name.
Right.
And Robbie's just standing there covered in blood. Like they did not
just
scrimp
No,
on
it looks like he had a
No,
broken
yeah.
nose because his nose was all bloody. It was great.
Yeah, they did a great job. It's because it was like, again, I don't think what I think this movie does well is that it speaks to things we're afraid of and it exploits those fears, but it's not so disgusting that I can't look at it without feeling revolted. I like
Yeah.
like even when though the children are in jeopardy, and maybe it's because I've seen this movie so many times before, like Robbie looks realistically beat up, but it's not like so like revolting, like he's like missing an arm that I'm just like so distressed I can't watch this
Yeah.
movie. You know what I mean? So I think they did the right amount of
And they did. And even him as a little actor, I think he did a great job just looking like he's just went through hell. Just even in his
Yeah.
reactions.
he looks just completely shell shocked, really. And he's just standing there. The TV's on. There's the snow on the TV. They're all running through the house. They're trying to find her. And then Diana's in the room. And then, well, actually, what happens is Carol Ann starts calling for her mom through the TV. And Robbie hears it first. And then Diane comes in and she's like, oh, I hear her. Where is she? And Robbie's like so upset,
Having
like,
a
so
breakdown.
shocked. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't
Yeah.
even speak. And that's when I love this shot where the both of them are looking at each other in profile and they're backlit by the TV. And then you hear Carol Ann, say, mommy.
Where are you, mommy?
Right. And then you just see their heads turn and look at the TV. It's so great. All right. So Carol Ann has been abducted by the TV people. And it seems like we make a time jump, right? It seems like we make a time jump. The family has been holed up in their house. They've told everyone they have the flu. Diane still looks ravishing, I might add.
Right?
Yeah, she looks beautiful for a woman whose child was just abducted.
Steven looks like garbage.
Like a garbage.
Like just garbage. But I love it
grunty.
because he doesn't, like, Diane is very open about her emotions. Sarah and I talked about this when we were watching the movie. Very open about her emotions. Steven, it's very like a traditional mother, husband, wife, mother, father kind of. It's the stereotypical roles where the mother's very open about her, her feelings of love and sadness and all of that. And Steven seems to keep it all inside. But the way that they deal with that is they have him look like complete shit.
garbage.
But
Like he
also
looks
the-
like he has not slept in weeks.
And also, like the thing that made me think of that was when, what's her face, the short
Tangina.
woman,
Yeah.
Tangina was comforting the mom, and the mom was crying, and she was like comforting her and like talking to her, and Stephen was just back there, and no one was comforting
I
him.
know.
And I think that's what happens in our society is that women
Yeah.
are allowed to cry, women get comforted, hugs, like people tell them it's going to be okay, and men just like hang back and just,
Yeah.
That's probably why in the end of the movie he didn't know how to handle. We won't talk about it now, but handle the situation where. He sees them
let's
in the house.
let's
Yeah.
hold on to that. But please, let's bring that up again. So now time has passed, and they've obviously gotten to the point where they're so desperate they're now calling upon paranormal investigators.
Not the police. And like this movie could have been very different, you guys. Like this is a couple whose daughter has been missing for like easily a week, and they have
I
not
think it's been a
contacted
couple
the
of
police.
weeks.
Yeah.
Like they have not contacted the police. Like they killed their daughter. This is like a John Bonet if they had never left the note.
Well, we saw what happened, so they didn't kill but the police
know,
certainly
I
would
know,
have
but
thought
it-
that. Yes.
yeah.
That's why they
Yeah.
didn't contact. I mean, what are they going to do?
Well,
Go to
she
the
hasn't
police
been
and
to
say my
school.
daughter
She's
is
5.
been to
She's
school
old
yet.
enough to go to
She's-
school.
She was
so-
not in school.
She's a truant.
No, but guys, first of all, in the 1980s there was no pre-K.
She's 5.
She was in the nursery.
She's 5.
class,
She's
right?
5, but if you recall from all the earlier scenes when all the children went off to school,
Yeah,
she didn't because she's not old enough to go to school, I think.
Well,
no.
we also just didn't educate girls at that time either.
Oh my
you
God,
know?
Oh
Hillary.
my gosh. She
Oy.
was in some sort of class because do you remember the father's boss when he takes him up on the hill and he's like, oh, so and so's daughter is in Carol Ann's nursery class.
Oh, well, nursery school.
What is that?
Nursery
like
school is
preschool.
preschool, but it's
It's
not.
more like daycare with a
Yeah,
lot of
but it's
children.
daycare, and I didn't ever see her go. So if she went, I assume it was not regular, and
was
maybe it was a
half
couple of
days every
days.
It was like-
Wednesday.
Yeah, something like
Oh,
that. Yeah,
God.
just so that mom could get out,
Mom
get her
can, like,
hair
smoke a
done,
joint in the
smoke
middle of the day,
smoke a
just, like,
J,
breathe for a second.
Take a bath.
take a
I don't
bath.
know.
Yeah, I'm just
to the
kidding.
bathroom.
She probably needed to do laundry.
Yeah, I was
Let's
gonna
be
say,
real.
yeah, she probably
she
cleaned the
probably was
house
like, it's
and
the
then, like,
only day I
maybe
can
took
do
a
laundry and
10-minute
poop.
nap.
It's the one day of a week, the week that I get to poop. It's real talk, guys. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear why they don't go to the police, because what are they going to tell them? My daughter
Yeah.
got sucked into a TV, and then now they're arrested.
I'm sorry,
Right.
but even the paranormal people, like, they deal with some crazy stuff, right? But they
Yeah.
should have at least second guessed it and been like,
Well, they were skeptical
should've
going
said
into
They
it
something
were until
sooner.
until.
the scene.
Yeah, but
Well, not just that, but like they had the media. Well, we haven't got.
don't
Well, I
hang
guess we
out
can
with
just.
the murderers, you know?
I
until
mean,
you figure out
fucking
whether they are or aren't.
teapots are flying
Flying,
across
yeah.
the table
Well,
right
yeah.
away.
Yeah, you're right.
So we've got the paranormal investigators. We've got not Catherine Hellmond. Don't remember her name. Nobody knows who Catherine Hellmond is. Okay. Who's the boss? Anyone? No? Okay.
Nope.
Anyway, I don't remember the character's name, but the doctor lady. Dr. Lady Doctor.
Dr. Lady Doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Lady
fabulous
Doctor.
The really
Glasses.
sympathetic
Crazy
eyes.
eyes.
Oh, I thought
I
they were
thought
so
their
sympathetic.
relationship was
Oh my
so
God.
beautiful.
So scary.
She's comforts her.
Their eyes are.
There
Didn't
are
she have an
real.
accent?
This is now a
Wasn't she,
good
like,
time to bring this
Australian or
up, but there
something?
are real female relationships in
Oh,
this movie.
Yeah.
That they did very well,
Like,
for sure.
We'll talk about the Bechdel test later, but they're real. Like the women are the center of this film, which I love.
Good on you, Steven. By the way, I just realized that the dad's name is Steven. What kind of a sick person writes his own name as one of the lead characters?
I do it all the time.
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, it's Stephen with a V, not Stephen with a P, right? Wait,
It's
Stephen with a
Yeah,
P.
it's like when I
not
spell Hillary
Stephen
with one L or an E.
but how creepy would that be if I had a lead character named Sarah with no H?
I'm gonna write all of my movies
With an
now.
H, Nicole with an
Everyone's
H.
gonna be Nicole with an
Right.
H.
The next one I write is gonna have a Melissa in there, but with like two
Two
L's
Ls.
and one S.
yeah.
Well, maybe he was really. I think he was more. I think he was. I think Steven Spielberg probably would identify most with the Robbie, the brother, and maybe. I mean, at this time, he probably did have. I don't know for sure, but I think
probably
he
had
did have
kids,
some kids
yeah.
at this point.
I really identified with the guy in the beginning who was riding the bike with the 30 rack strapped on it that the kids tortured.
Oh, you
That-
mean the guy who was trying to transport beer? That's
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
that was your
That
point
was-
of reference character.
Yeah, I mean, I even wrote that down. Actually, it's one of my first notes is I am that sweaty dude on a bike with a 30 rack that the kids torture. That's who I most identified
Oh,
with
I
in this
identified
movie.
with the guy who decided not to come back and investigate that.
Yeah.
Mm,
I
no.
identified
so-
with the guy who ate
scary.
the sauce out of the window.
So so let's get to him. So there's the Dr. Lady Doctor. There's not Martin Short, who is
Yeah,
the white guy.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
the
what his
white
name is.
dude.
The white guy.
That's not
Um,
Craig T. Nelson.
Not Martin Short, because for years when I was a kid I thought that was Martin Short.
It looked like Martin Short. That's a fair assumption.
And then there's not Lionel Richie, the other guy.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh my God. Yes.
Not Lionel Richie.
Not Lionel
right?
Richie. That's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
exactly who he was.
Which, as a person of color, I appreciated that he did not die. He had a name. He had an important
He had
role.
lines.
He had
Get the fuck
lines.
outta
He
here.
had an
Yeah.
important shit to
He
do.
was a real character.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh,
I
yes,
know, right?
represent.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was so excited.
Yeah.
I actually love that guy a lot. I love.
I did too. I really liked him.
He had his thing was sort of, he seemed to have this he really loved he had a love of the paranormal.
Yeah.
You see him like
he's, like,
drawing,
excited
sketching a
about
lot.
it.
He
Yeah.
has an excitement. I actually really love when the family. So Stephen goes and talks to all of them, and somehow like convinces them to come check out the house.
Yeah.
And this is when not Lionel Richie is talking to him about this event, this amazing event we watched. We saw a child's car
yeah.
travel from one side of the room to another, and it took 7 hours. And Stephen's like, what took 7 hours? And he's like, the car took 7 hours for the car to go 1 foot. Was it 1 foot?
yeah, it was
Something
1
like that.
foot.
And he's telling him this as they're going up to show them the bedroom.
Yeah,
the
in the
children's
bedroom.
bedroom.
She's like fucking. It looks like Matilda up in there.
Yeah, and I love how Stephen just looks at them and he goes, I
I know. I did crack up at that. I won't lie.
and he just
That
opens
was
the
great.
door and it's fucking batshit in there.
Yeah.
There's fucking He-Man characters riding around on horses. The compass that plays the record.
The record, that
Yeah.
was great.
The bed is flying around. The clown has taken
He's
over.
on the bed.
He's taken that
God.
room over. So the spirit is, gone crazy in that room.
Yeah.
But they keep that room locked up. They don't go in there anymore. So now
Why would you?
I know.
You're gonna get hit in the head with something. The
you're
minute
gonna
you
get
step
stabbed in
there.
the eye with a compass.
Yeah, probably.
Not Lionel Richie, Dr. Lady Doctor, and not Martin Short are all now at the house. They've set up all their equipment. They're filming. The family is now sleeping all together downstairs. They
Yeah.
don't sleep upstairs
With
anymore.
the investigators too, right?
Yeah, the
They're
investigators
in
are all
the-
staying over.
in the living room with all the TVs on and the radio on, right? On certain
camera.
channels.
Well, they've got the TV on a certain channel where you can hear Carol Ann, and
Okay.
this is the first time they demonstrate for them the Carol Ann in the television.
Okay.
And they have cameras and they're,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, cameras everywhere, all that shit.
Well, it's a very heartbreaking scene to me. And it was at this point, and I'll get into this a little deeper later. I feel like horror movies always reflect some sort of fear in the psyche of the psyche of the population that makes them. Like whatever
Yeah.
culture makes the movie, it's something that culture is afraid of. And growing up in the 80s, I have to tell you that a huge thing that was going on at the time was abduction was a big thing, like children being abducted. Adam Walsh, the son
Yeah.
of the guy who started the America's Most Wanted TV show. That was a story that every kid knew about, how Adam Walsh was just playing video games at the mall and somebody snatched him up. And so there was all this stuff you were taught as a child, like stranger danger and don't talk to strangers. And this is when, now I think we can point to a couple of things in this film where kids are kind of given free reign. But this was at the beginning, I think, of where people started to turn away from that and started to feel uncomfortable with their children being alone. Because there was a lot of publicized, high profile cases of children being abducted.
Yeah.
Statistically, we know, three of us at this table who listen to My Favorite Murder and are part of that Facebook page. Statistically, there was a huge spike in serial killers in the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah.
Many of which who preyed upon
Insanely
children.
so.
Yeah. So I have to wonder if the subtext
Dahmer
of this
was
film.
active at this time, right?
I thought it was the 90s that he was
It
active.
He
was
was
in
captured
the
in
90s.
91.
Okay. Well, he may have been.
I know that he was captured just a few days
But
before
John
my
Wayne
birthday.
Gacy and all of these other people that preyed upon.
Yeah.
Wasn't John Wayne Gacy in the 70s?
He was caught in the early 80s, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
But all these high profile cases of abduction and serial killers and sick people hurting others and snatching kids right off out of their front lawn, I feel like I have to wonder if the subtext of this movie is about abduction and about a family dealing with an abduction, even though the abduction is a ghost within your own house. I've
Yeah.
got some other things that I think we can point to when we get to
No,
Tangina.
I get that. I think that's really interesting. I'm also just hung up on the fact that like stranger danger has been kind of like disproven as a theory because like most abductions are by people that you know. I mean, there was that
Yeah.
15-year-old girl in Minnesota who was kidnapped and kept for a couple months by a family friend.
Yes,
and,
no,
like-
it's true.
But you also shouldn't just,
Oh no, you
go
shouldn't just
with
like let your
strangers.
children roam, but like most abductions are by
and I
people
want to
you know.
return to that because I think there's some things that the way when we get to Tangina and the way she talks about the character
Yeah.
that's holding Carol Ann, I think we can talk a little bit more about that at that moment. But At this time, when you're seeing the family really grappling with the grief of their loss, it speaks to me a lot about what a family experiencing an abduction, and like when you don't know where your child is, it's like they could be anywhere. They could be right under your nose, and you don't know. And in this case, she literally is right under their nose, but they can't get to her.
Yeah.
And she was snatched right out of their house. You know.
Yeah. Ugh.
So this is when we have Mom talking to Carol Ann on the TV. And I believe this is when we first hear the beast.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
And Carol Ann is screaming that someone is with her, and then she runs. This is when you get her running down the stairs and passing through her mother, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love when she's saying, "I can smell her," because you can like. Yeah. You know the smell of your children as a parent. Like,
well, you know the smell of any person that you're close to and love,
right.
You know, like I've definitely dated people where I was like, I know what you smell like. You know?
If you've got a sweater of theirs and you break up, you hang on to that sweater.
I normally burn it, but yeah.
But I mean, if you don't feel that way that you want to burn it, that maybe you hang on to it.
Monster.
I mean,
you maybe return it to them.
My ex just smelled like soap and toothpaste. Like he didn't really have a smell.
And now you're like,
well, let me bring it back to the abduction thing. I have read different accounts of parents who've lost their children. I'm thinking specifically.
Why do you torture yourself?
Because
like this, Nicole?
It's an ever-present thing you're constantly afraid of, and it comes up on Facebook. People post these horrifying. I try to hide them, but also like I recall.
I went to college with kidnapped a girl recently.
I know.
Oh God, it was so awful.
But I've heard of parents who've experienced like a loss of a child, like not just like leaving the bedroom the same way, but also going in there and laying in the child's bed and smelling their clothes, because that's like the only thing they have left of them is the smell that their child was there. Yeah. And so I think that moment is really powerful to me.
Oh, for sure. I thought it was good. It's fine. I was just so bored by this movie.
Really?
Yes.
All right, get into
bored
it.
by
Let's
this.
go.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like this part in particular or anything. It was just I thought this movie was really boring. I was just like,
It's too slow for you?
Well, I think it was very slow for me, but also, and I do think it's because it's a classic and people steal from it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like I've seen all this before, and it's just like, and I think that's the problem
is that you've
why
already
I
seen
didn't
it
like
when other people
I've seen it
other
because
people
other
stole
people
it.
have stolen it.
Okay,
and like,
that's fair.
I've seen every single thing in this movie in another horror movie, and so I was just bored.
Okay,
but I mean, it's not a bad movie. I think it was very well shot. I thought it was very well acted. Thought the script was a little like sometimes like a little cheesy.
Yeah,
but
I don't think Steven Spielberg is the best writer.
No,
but
I don't think it was very well written.
I think
as a
he's
film.
a good storyteller through film.
He's really understands the medium for sure.
Yeah.
He's good with characters. He gives characters time to be themselves, which I think is
and
important.
the characters were really lovely. Like I mean, like obviously we're focusing on Mom and Carol Ann, and like all the other ones are kind of like tertiary characters that we get a little bit of a sense
that's
for.
what I appreciate about it is that motherhood and the bond between a mother and her children is seen as something that's heroic.
Right.
In this movie, which is not something you usually see. You see mothers as sacrificial figures or people that support other people. But this is a movie where being a mother is heroic. It takes being a hero.
No, I totally
love
agree. And I thought that was a really interesting choice. And I really liked that she was given the sort of front row seat in the whole thing, you know? And I really enjoyed that because I feel like in a different movie written by somebody else or directed by somebody else, it would have been the dad who has to come to the rescue and fix
which
it.
I believe is the way they did it. This is how they did the remake.
Oh,
they
did
made
they?
the father yeah.
I would never watch the remake because I thought this movie was so boring, but that's a real fucking bummer if that's the case.
You son of a bitch, you moved the cemetery, but you left the bodies, didn't you? You son of a bitch, you left the bodies and you only moved the headstones! You only moved the headstones!
Beep, 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 beep. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from our sponsors. Sarah has been abducted by a poltergeist.
She was sucked right through the closet.
Just sucked right into the closet.
We were standing by the tree. We were not
admiring
paying,
its beauty
not
and
majesty. We were
attention.
not paying attention.
She's in the land of strawberry jelly, which, if you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. The weird land is
the land of
jelly.
schmuckers.
Sarah had an emergency and had to
Yeah.
leave abruptly.
Yeah.
We apologize
Yeah.
to all of Sarah's diehard fans that
Yeah.
she's no longer in the rest of this episode. We will miss her,
Yeah.
and we'll try
Well,
to
she'll be
replicate
back.
her wit.
We'll be, yeah,
Yes,
I think I don't
Hodges
think
out.
Okay, so let's get back to this movie. Not Martin Short decides not to come back.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
had
he's
it
like,
after
I-
he ripped his face off.
Well, he
So many
ripped his
maggots,
face
ripped
off.
my
The
face
maggot.
off.
He gets bit, right? He goes
did,
up
he
into
got
the closet
bit.
and he got bit. He got bit.
Like, why does he go to the closet after ripping his face off?
No, that was
That was
before.
before.
Oh, and
He
then
went in
gets
to get
bit by
a.
the thing.
He got bit and then decided the best way to feel better would be to eat a raw steak.
Yeah.
Got it.
And some chicken wings.
Oh yeah, I
Counter
had chicken wings
steaks
for
and
lunch.
chicken
Though I
wings.
get that.
That's what I like to eat in the
Get
middle
it,
of the
man.
night.
Get it.
Okay. So after they leave and this pretty epic paranormal event occurs, they decide they need to bring in the big guns.
Yeah.
And they bring in Tangina Barrett.
Or the coolest person I've ever seen in my life.
She's amazing.
I
love her
really,
glasses.
I wish I could replicate her voice so badly.
I know, her
but
voice
it's
is
like
amazing.
both nasally and like some sort of New Englandish accent at the same time that I can't quite get to.
Her voice reminds me, and people are gonna hate me, a little bit of the character from Will and Grace.
Which Karen?
Yes.
That's
Not
my
Karen.
Halloween costume this
No,
year. I'm
Karen's
going
like
as Karen
arch
Walker.
nemesis.
Oh my god!
Smaller man with the
No,
white
I know exactly
hair.
what you're talking about. Sydney,
yeah.
isn't
Yes,
his name right?
Sydney.
Yeah.
Her voice reminds me of his. It's
Oh my
that high
god! No,
frequency.
you're right, and it's like, but he has like a southern drawl, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh
He's like
my.
Truman Capote. a
Yeah.
little bit.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very Truman Capote.
I feel like they should have done something together at some point.
Oh my god, it would be so hard to listen to. They should have a podcast.
I
That would be
think
terrible.
she might have passed away. Is she still alive?
Tangina, the actress
her
who played
name Tangina?
No, the
No.
actor. I can't remember her name right now, but the actress who played her.
Her name was Zelda.
Zelda Rubinstein. Yeah,
Equally awesome.
Yeah.
she died in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
I believe. So she was around for a
sad.
while.
But
She went
not
to a lot of the
crazy death like
no,
cancer.
she went into no. She
Like the rest
she
of
just
this
died of
person did?
complications of her age and whatnot. She went to a lot of the conventions and stuff.
Okay.
She was a pretty regular fixture there.
Well, obviously she was in the third movie.
She was in the third movie and the second. But Tangina, the character, is a psychic, and her thing is
Yeah.
that she cleans houses. She cleans out houses that have disturbances.
Yeah. I'm sorry, just in my notes, there's always something, in the movie that like I realize I fucked up somehow in my watching of it. And the whole movie, I was like, why is this movie so fucking quiet? And like I couldn't get the volume up
Yeah.
to a point where like I could really hear it properly.
Yeah, maybe
and
that's what your problem with it
I
was.
paused it to go to the bathroom because it's on my laptop through an HDMI cord to my TV.
Oh.
It was playing through my laptop sound, and up until this
well, then
point
you probably
in the movie,
didn't hear anything.
well, I have the subtitles on. I always have the subtitles on
Well,
when I'm
really?
listening to the podcast. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Huh. I find that would be
I
distracting for me.
actually
That's how Charlotte watches movies too.
bought the soundtrack to this movie before I watched it to listen, and it's super fucking creepy.
I bet.
But the music they did actually was really wonderful. I thought.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
set
no,
up
the music
movie.
is gorgeous. Yeah. So they bring in Tangina. She comes in, despite having seen
"This
some
house
pretty
is bad."
fucking weird shit. Steven is very skeptical
Of
all
this
all of a
lady.
sudden
I
of this.
know.
All of a sudden, of the one lady
But
who knows what
is
she's
it-
talking about.
Does somebody maybe have a little case of toxic masculinity? You think?
I
Maybe
think so.
just a skosh.
Little skosh.
Smidge.
He seems very like he can't trust her. at
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's the glasses or the homeliness of the character, but she is the first one that's not like a
Yeah.
pretty woman.
No, she's-
and
yeah.
it's the only one that he is like, I don't know about this.
I don't know
bitch."
about Liz Lade. In fact, he's very snotty to her. She goes
Yeah.
upstairs. She's asking him stuff about the bedroom, and he's trying to send her like psychic
psychic
vibes.
She's
message.
like,
Although-
I am talking to the living.
For real though, I feel like this is how Chris would react if I brought a psychic into the house.
Oh, I definitely think that's exactly what Chris
so
would
I
do.
could relate a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Chris would just be like, "How do you not already know what's going on? Aren't you psychic?"
Yeah, exactly. So
And
they
I'd be
bring
like,
her in.
Actually, I'm a clairvoyant, Chris.
And this is when we get the lowdown about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Tangina tells them that there are portals in their house to the other side.
Yeah.
She tells them that there are lots of spirits that don't know they've passed. They're attracted to Carol Ann because of her life force, and it's distracting them from the real light, which is where they need to go to pass on to the next plane.
So 5-year-olds have an irresistible life force. That's what I've heard.
They're delicious.
They are studying it with science now. Some people may say they are. I don't know. I think we'd have to talk.
We're going
to the
down a
right
road
people.
that I feel like.
creepy facility where they're studying children's life forces.
Oh God, that does
It's
seem
like,
very
what is that?
sci-fi.
The last
That's what the
X-Men
next
movie,
episode-
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't see that one because it seemed too sad.
Oh, which one? Logan?
Oh yeah, you'll cry like
Yeah.
a little bit.
No, I don't want to. I don't
Didn't
want to
Brian
cry.
meet Wolverine? Like
Yes.
He did. Yeah,
He
I heard that.
did.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Lucky.
On the
I'm
Facebooks.
glad I wasn't there because I would have just fangirled out.
Oh my God, my ovaries would have been out of control.
Yeah, I would have been arrested.
Highly attracted to
Oh,
to Hugh Jackman, but who isn't?
yeah.
I'll take young Hugh Jackman. I'll take old Hugh Jackman.
Any
I'll
of
take
any of them.
any
Oh my
Hugh
God,
Jackman
any
flavor
of
you've
them.
got.
Any of them. I just would have a Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman popsicle any day.
Any
of the
day.
Night or day.
His wife is
afternoon,
like
mid-afternoon.
one lucky lady.
You
Yeah.
surprise me with one. I'll lick it good.
So the other thing is, Tangina tells them there is an evil spirit that is with them as well. And here's
Yeah.
again another
But
thing
isn't
where
the evil spirit like childlike, and that's
well, here's the
why,
thing.
or
Here's
whatever?
another thing I think
It's an
brings
evil
up-
child. It's Damien.
Well, no, she says it talks to her like a child, not that
Right.
it is a
Oh.
child. She
I thought
says
she said it had like it was like childlike or something. I don't know.
she
maybe
said
I'm
she
making
said it
up.
lies to her, it manipulates her, and it talks to her in ways that only a child would understand. And so she thinks it's a child, but it's not a child.
Huh.
But it keeps her near it so it can control the others.
Scary. Okay.
So again, this kind of reminded me of the idea of abduction and how people that abduct children often try to manipulate them
Yeah.
and talk to them like children to lure them away.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I could see that.
So they come up with the plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Which-
they do.
Interestingly, is the little boy came up with this plan in the
He
first
did.
place.
He said it like 30 minutes earlier in
Right.
the movie. Like, why don't we just tie a rope around me and send me in there and I'll go get Carol Ann and bring her back?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Whatever. Shut up,
oh,
little boy.
children. But that's literally what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entrance,
Makes the most sense.
the indoor is in the closet and the outdoor is in the living room. We didn't talk about
From
this.
the
but-
ceiling.
From the ceiling of the living room directly below the closet, which, you know,
Which why isn't
logically-
it like
Makes sense.
the parents' bedroom where they shot into the wall? Why isn't that one of them?
Yeah, they don't really.
I don't know.
The only other time we get a reference to that is that
Or from
at
one
some
TV to
point
the
the
next.
dog.
Yeah.
At some point the dog is like
Barking
at
at
it,
a wall?
bringing
Yeah.
it,
Wants to
bringing
play
it.
fetch with the wall.
You like the wall is talking to him. But yeah,
that
no,
was creepy. I'm
I
sorry.
think
If your dog starts doing shit like that, just move.
Leave
You should just fucking move.
immediately. Just
honestly,
burn the house down.
I think the only thing I could say is that it's probably more cinematic to have the outdoor where it is.
Yeah,
It's a lot more
it is.
dramatic.
Probably, yeah.
So also we've seen before that watches of various different ages have dropped out of nowhere from that portal in the ceiling.
Watches?
Yeah, watches came
remember?
out of it.
Did we?
Yeah. Did you watch this movie?
I don't think I did, guys. I don't think I watched this movie. I think I watched the wrong
Besides
one.
people and tennis balls, that's the only thing that has come out of the ceiling.
Right. So what they do,
I don't remember
it's
the tennis
very
balls
it's,
either. Fascinating.
Okay, it's very
don't they
smart.
throw the
Yeah.
tennis
Yeah.
ball in
So
and it
what
comes
they
out?
do
I remember that part.
is they come up with a plan. They not Lionel Richie and Dr. Lady Doctor stand under the outdoor, the out portal. And they and Tangina throws a tennis ball with their writing. They write numbers on it. That she throws a tennis ball through into the closet, and it comes out the other side. When it comes out, it's covered in stuff.
In jelly.
Jelly.
Yeah. And they throw two tennis balls Both come through. That's good enough for them.
Covered in
Now they're ready
Afterbirth.
to send a person in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like,
They
cool.
tie up mom
We
and they're
don't
ready
need
to go.
Test this
Well-
with a canary or any other sort
Well,
of, like maybe
Tweety's
the
dead.
dog.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, I
the
know.
dog. No.
I feel like I would have thrown
Look,
like toast
before
through
my
and then had
husband-
jelly
Look,
on it
that
after.
dog would have gotten distracted.
They're like delicious.
Look, that dog would have gotten distracted by the first
That's
squirrel he
true.
saw in there, and we
That's
would
true.
never
We
have
would
seen
never
that dog
see
again.
that precious little golden retriever ever again.
So,
Put a canary like a
well, they
mine.
send a rope through. So now they've got a rope going
Yeah.
through one end and out the other.
Yeah.
And Tangina was going to go into the closet. She was going to go into
Yeah.
the and go get Carol Ann, but Diane says that Carol Ann's not going to come to you.
Yeah. Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Carol Ann's already been kidnapped by some strangers. She's not going to
And-
go to another stranger.
No, the only person she's going to go to is one of her parents. And so, again, I feel like a real moment of heroism
Yeah.
on the part of the mother, a role which I believe women and mothers are not often given
No,
in these movies.
I agree. I don't think that they're given the opportunity to be the hero of the story very often, especially in movies like this.
And she's very, I mean, she walks into death,
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
literally walks into the realm of death to get her daughter and comes back out the other side.
Covered in Afterbirth.
Right. I think that's exactly what it is.
Great,
So, and I want to
Smucker's
talk
Afterbirth.
more about that.
Vaginal flora.
Vaginal flora and fauna.
And fauna. That one
So
daisy
that
right
let's
there.
talk about that because we're there already. Is death in this movie a rebirth?
I want to say that's what they're trying to do here, and I think it's done sloppily.
Okay, please expand on that.
Just the whole like door thing, because I feel like if it was a rebirth, it would have been more of a reincarnation type story.
But those characters haven't died though. They're just in there accidentally.
Right, but I don't see that. I haven't watched anything other than this
Okay.
movie, but there is nothing after this moment to symbolize that they have in any way been changed by this. So I think
see.
that the message of
Right, because
rebirth is sloppy.
Caroline, she doesn't even remember.
Right.
Well, I think
Anything.
she does. I think it's clear that she does remember. They say she does. She says she doesn't, but I think it's
think she
clear
remembers
that she does. We'll get back to that part. But I guess what I mean not necessarily is that it's a rebirth for them, but that death is shown like a rebirth for the people who have died. And the reason I say that is because of this imagery. I mean,
yeah, no,
when
you're
she
right.
goes
the image
in,
is pretty clear, honestly.
it's the when they come out, they're covered in what
Yeah.
looks like it looks exactly
yeah.
what when you
Yeah.
have a baby, what that looks like. And the rope itself is very much like an umbilical cord.
No, I agree. The
Yeah.
imagery is right there. I just don't think the message was strong enough to stand up to it. You know, I felt like it was sort of sloppy.
I feel like if the idea is that they're being reborn, then that is not. But I don't know that that's what they were going for. I think it was more about the idea that rather than death being an ending, that it's a beginning, much like
Right.
birth, and but not for those characters because they're not supposed to be there.
Okay,
They're just passing through the canal, if you will.
it's fair.
But I actually think, to me, that's a really fresh, even though this is a 1982 movie, I feel like it's a very fresh and beautiful approach to the idea of death. That rather than it being an end, which many people think it is, portrayed as being the end,
Yeah.
it's just the beginning of something else, which I think is a really beautiful idea
Yeah.
and far more comforting to me than a lot of other ideas about death.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
it's
it
very
does. You know.
comforting.
So now they send her in there, and this is
Well,
when
originally they were trying to send Dad, right?
Yeah.
And then
no. They can't
Or-
get Carol Ann to talk to them because she's being held by this
Okay.
beast, and so they make Stephen yell at her, which
Oh,
he's very
right.
upset about.
Yes.
Which
he
I
has
thought was
never-
also another
But it's because
beautiful
he's
moment.
the disciplinarian, right?
Well,
Right,
he-
but he's
yeah.
like, I would never spank my kids or
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So once Diane goes into the portal, this is when Tangina begins trying to guide the other spirits into the light.
Right.
And Stephen, toxic masculinity, to borrow a phrase from another podcast, ruins the party Steven will not trust her, does not trust what's being done. He does the thing he's not supposed to do, which is freaks the fuck out
And tries to pull
Diane back
Diane
out, which probably would have killed her.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, possibly both of them.
Yeah.
If she already had Carol Ann.
So fortunately, Diane, probably knowing that her husband is a doofus, got Carol Ann real quick, and he's yanking on the
Umbilical cord.
umbilical cord and loses his grip, and they fall out the other side.
But
because
he
of the
did
beast comes.
pull the beast out a bit
Yes.
of the upstairs closet.
Which was very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that could be like the pain of childbirth, right?
I suppose I feel like I think
We're
in this
really
case
trying to make this.
No.
metaphor work
I
for
think
them.
the birth thing works. The imagery of it, I think that's really just a representation of this evil thing. Like, I think it's just us seeing the monster that's hiding in there. I think it really is just the monster. But he is unable to sit back and perform the role that he's supposed to. He's not confident enough in the people around him to let them take control.
Yeah.
And he tries to step in and freaks out and
fucking shit up.
Fucking shit up. They fall through, and then they put them in the tub, and for a second there, you're not quite sure whether they're
Gonna wake up or not.
alive or dead.
Yes.
And they're all covered in the strawberry
And the
jelly.
with the worst sound effect added in.
Oh,
my God. It was like.
is that when they were wiping them off?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like they were literally just wiping this jelly off of their forehead, which is a silent activity. And it sounded like.
I don't know. It made me
was
want to
the
put a jelly on a
worst.
bagel, if you know what I'm
It
saying.
made me so unhappy. It made me think of all the times that Thomas talks about how he has to make sound effects and the
Yeah.
weird shit he uses. I
Yeah.
was like, I bet that's like two chicken breasts being rubbed
Like
together.
there's
under a
Thomas.
faucet and it's running
You're
really
thinking of
slowly,
Thomas
you know?
somewhere, just like
Like-
slapping some chicken breast
Yeah,
together.
like shoving his fist in some jelly, like making that noise. That's what I'm picturing right now because
Yes.
I know how those sounds are made.
Yes.
And it makes me really sad. It grossed
He's
out.
definitely done some weird things for sound effects.
Right.
So-
were you in the film where he used a whole ham?
Yeah,
And,
that was
machete to ham
that was
for that one?
Dead Thirsty.
Was that
Yeah.
Dead Thirsty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done some interesting things.
So they do wake up, and now,
Mm-hmm.
which again I think is a beautiful moment. Again, they're not. I'm not necessarily they're being reborn, but there is something very reminiscent to me of how dangerous it is to bring a child into the world. Like how dangerous it is for a mother. The mother's body is the one that's being put through that, which is exactly what happens in this movie. Death is always a possibility, and death for both. So when you're the act of even bringing a child into this world could be your death or the death of the baby.
And now it's more likely than ever.
That's dark as fuck.
Sorry, guys. It's
Happy
reality.
Halloween.
Thank God you're done, right, Nicole?
Thank God.
Don't have kids for
well,
the next
Right, Nicole?
You
5
never
years.
you never know. I mean, it depends on whether they put me in the breeding, whether or
That's
not
true.
they find me fit for the breeding
You have
camps.
successfully had 3.
It's true.
so-
They might mark me a breeder. We're not sure.
Yeah. They're probably just going to mark me a house slave, you know? I was like, I'm not good for much else
They're like,
besides
we're
cooking.
gonna put her. We're gonna have her making chicken stock.
Yeah, they're like, she's pretty portly, and I hear she makes a killer chicken stock. We're going to put her in the kitchen.
Great. I'm coming up on too old for kids.
No, come on.
Hey. I'm not going to be marked a breeder.
You have perfect skin. You just need to lie. There's not a wrinkle on your face.
I'm
like
gonna
I can
be like,
tell you're
I'm
very
too
hydrated and have
I'm
never once
200
been
years old.
dehydrated.
I'm 256.
Stop
So-
stealing my joke.
They successfully rescue Carol Ann. I thought it was really
Yes.
cute. They for a while you're not sure if they're going to breathe or not. Finally, everybody takes a breath, and the little girl opens her eyes and she says, "Hi, Daddy." And then the paranormal scientists close the bathroom door and leave them alone, which I thought was so sweet.
That was a really sweet
But
moment.
also,
And
like, I'm not
then,
leaving anybody
what's her
alone
name?
after that.
Tangina.
Tangina. I want to call her Tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of tries to gussy herself up a bit to say,
And her hair's all
yeah,
frazzled.
her hair's all everywhere.
We didn't talk about the lighting in that closet scene, like in that room, but I love the lighting in
It
there.
was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, she just gets in front of the camera and she's like, "This house is clean."
Yeah.
But
What is it? So immediately after rescuing Carol Ann, they do what any normal family would do. They sleep in the house one more night.
Right. They go right back to normal.
They go right back to
Well, no,
normal.
they're moving. They're moving,
moving.
but they're staying in the house while
they move.
While they move, which is why?
I don't
Like,
know, man.
why?
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
Why
And like,
are
Mom
the
has
children?
some gray hairs now?
Yeah, she's
too,
got some
After
gray
going-
hairs.
yeah.
her change.
Why are the children still sleeping in the bedroom?
Why did Mom leave them
Really
alone?
quickly, though?
What?
The gray hair
Oh, yeah,
scene?
sure.
I really did like that moment because
did
I
too.
thought that she was very proud of them. She also shows Carol Ann and she's like, "Do you like it?" And Carol Ann's like, "I
Oh,
don't know."
Dana, the teenage daughter.
Or was it
Yeah,
Dana
yeah,
who said
Dana,
that?
yeah.
Either way, they were like, "Yeah, I don't know, Mom." And like, but I liked it because it was this moment of like my battle scars.
I
Like
fucking went through
saved
something.
my kid and
Yeah.
like got these battle scars for it. And I look a badass.
Well,
and,
she's
like,
fucking hot.
yeah,
with or
and
without the gray
I
hair.
loved it. Also, it was like just the perfect place for grays. You know, if
Yeah.
you're gonna have them,
Just a couple perfect strands. In the front.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I really liked that moment too, and I thought
Yeah.
that was a good moment too. Like, because I feel like every time you see a man go into battle, you see him afterwards bragging about his battle scars. You know, and like, I survived this thing, and like this is the scar I got from it, and it's like she has that same thing.
Yeah,
and I really
love
did
that.
like that moment.
Yeah.
It was a very small touch, and then I hated when she was dyeing it. It made me really sad. When she
Yeah,
was dyeing her
so
hair.
Stephen goes off to take care of something. They put the
Yeah.
children to bed in the bedroom where they were
abducted
recently abducted
By a
spirits.
demon, yeah.
or eaten by trees, whatever.
Or eaten by
and
trees.
and then Mom goes to take a little bath in the spa.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the oldest daughter, what? She goes out on a date.
She goes out on a date.
Yeah.
Business as usual. This is the part that I really can't get behind because I feel like I would once my kid was out, I would
out of
never
that
go back
house.
to that house again.
I'd pay movers. I would have somebody.
I would
come
never
and
go
pack it
back.
up
I
for
would
me.
buy new shit.
Yeah,
that shit
you're
would be
probably
cursed.
Right. You're right.
I wouldn't even
I would
keep
probably
that
just buy
shit.
new shit.
No, I would buy that.
You're
I would
right.
buy new shit. I might move to a new state. I don't know.
Change my name. Change my appearance.
I know those things will follow
Social
you.
Security number.
They could have really just went in the taxi to wherever they sent their child in the first
Exactly.
Right?
Wherever they sent
place. Like
him,
wherever
he just
they went, why
disappeared.
couldn't they just go there?
That abandoned field that they sent their child
Right.
to. We're like,
Well,
"You'll be
Robbie
safer
came
here."
back, so we know
Child
he's
and the dog.
okay.
He made it through.
They came back. He came back, so we know
the
he's
cab
okay.
driver didn't kill him.
Luckily. During the night, shit starts getting weird again.
Yeah, the clown.
Starting with the clown, which why is that fucking clown still there?
So in the same chair.
in the same chair.
I'm like, wait, if you
nope.
were moving, why didn't you pack the fucking clown?
Are you trying to
First.
punish your son?
right?
fucking pack the clown first, you
Or get rid of? Why is it even there? Anyway, the clown tries to kill Robbie.
Yeah. It just randomly slips off the chair, and he is such a brave little kid because
I
he's
know.
looking over his bed like, where'd this clown
Look,
go?
you were almost eaten by a tree. Like,
Yeah.
get your sister and get the fuck out of that room.
know? Right? Just be like, yeah, no, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out.
Get out.
Get
So
out.
the clowns, again, they're trying to use Robbie as a decoy.
I
Almost.
think,
It
again,
seemed like
I
that
feel
was
like
what was
they're trying
going on.
to do the same thing again.
But Robbie tears that fucking
Robbie
clown up.
was
Yeah.
done, and he just starts shredding the clown.
He was not to be trifled with.
no.
And
No.
he really lays into that clown.
right.
The stuffing's coming out and everything, which I loved.
It should.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mom is being the ghost is getting a little rapey.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting real rapey.
Pulling up her clothes.
Clothes,
Yeah.
pulling her up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
this is
Well, and
again
this is the
the use
first
of the
scene,
revolving
too.
room. This is
Yeah.
how they use the
Well, and this was the first scene too that like sort of shocked me in the like graphically sexual nature of
Yeah.
it because it's been sort of avoided in this
Yeah.
until now, and then it's like she is suddenly being like
assaulted sexually
assaulted by a ghost,
Yeah.
and it was like very like. Is it
It's-
incubus or a succubus?
It
that's
seemed
a
out
male
of
or female one? I
place
think it's
to
a-
me.
I think succubus is the female one. Incubus is the male one.
I feel like it seemed out of place.
It felt very out of
Yeah,
place
it,
to
did,
me.
it didn't feel. That was one of the one thing that I was like, this seems wrong in this movie. It doesn't make sense.
I feel like they just wanted
Yeah.
to use the revolving room.
No, the revolving room was
Yeah.
cool, but they didn't have to like
put the
pull
I
up
think
her
that's
clothes.
The,
That-
no, it was
Yeah.
really weird and awkward and
Yeah, it just. I mean, maybe they didn't know how else to get to the rest of it, but it just seemed kind of out of place.
It did.
It was
seem
definitely
place
out
to
of
me
place.
as well.
Now they actually filmed. There was more to that scene that got cut,
Oh,
but there was
really?
actually like goo that came out of the ceiling and like came over her and was like groping at her and stuff. And Steven Spielberg didn't like it, and they didn't use it. But there are photos of it. But he didn't like the way that the effect turned out, and they cut that stuff.
I think that's a
so
good
that's
call.
the effect that he didn't like.
Anyway, well, there were some. Meanwhile, back in Robbie
That paper
and
mache
Carol Ann's
face.
room, the closet is opened up again, and here's why I think Carol Ann does remember. So, Diane tells Stephen that Carol Ann doesn't remember anything
Right.
that happened, but as soon as the closet door opens and the light goes on, she
are
says, no more.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want.
You're right.
She doesn't want it to happen again. So I think she definitely remembers, and maybe just
Yeah.
doesn't want to
Won't
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
She's
So
a
the
private 6-year-old.
Right.
You know?
well, I mean, we're
she's gonna
5.
deal with this
She's
on
5.
her own.
Yeah, she's like, I've got this.
She's
I
like,
don't-
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and just get over it.
she's
Don't
like,
worry
I can't
about
trust
me."
my parents. They're stupid. Why am I in this house? So the closet begins sucking both of the children. The closet at this point has turned into an enormous vagina,
Yeah.
a very large, gooey vagina.
I got a
Okay,
great
but did it
accidental
have
vagina shot
teeth?
earlier, by the way.
Oh, you got what?
A great accidental vagina shot earlier while I was cooking myself dinner.
Oh,
So I'll share that with you later.
delish, delish. But yeah, again, I think it's this birth thing where the canal to the in between is very
Yeah.
vaginal.
But they're getting sucked in, which is the weird thing.
Well, I mean, isn't that how we all
Began.
began?
I don't think it was a sucking.
Oh, was
so
it-
much
No,
It was
as
a-
but
it was
did
a-
the vagina have teeth? I felt like it had teeth.
It didn't, but it
Or
did
was
have
it
like
like
a tongue
tongue
almost.
or
Yeah, there was
something?
something
Yeah.
tongue-like about it. So the vagina closet is trying to suck them in. Mom is having a hard time. She can't even get into the room, but she is trying her
She's
hardest.
trying hard
That
to get into that room.
Ghost
She's
is
thrown
throwing
down the
her
stairs.
all over the place.
Ugh.
Well, it doesn't repel her out. She gets back in,
She
and
does
she
get
even
in there.
gets the door open, and the kids are just hanging off that wicker.
The wicker
Bed.
bed that broke before. They replaced that wicker bed. That was important that they
Well,
got
it
a
was
new
just a
wicker
piece
bed.
that came off. But so the kids again for a very hero moment for Mom. She grabs the children. She grabs Robbie. Robbie grabs Carol Ann, and she uses her strength and might to
pull them
pull the
them out.
children out of the bedroom,
Yes.
which I think is a really beautiful scene. And then she runs downstairs with the kids, and then Steven comes back.
He
Like,
has
what
a
good? What
total
use are you?
breakdown
Don't
moment.
worry, honey. I picked up the milk.
It's like an hour later, he's
got
still
your
staring at
tampons.
the house.
Well, this is when Steven puts everything together.
Yeah.
And he's basically the boss shows up and
Right.
he's like, you moved the bodies, but you didn't move the headstones.
No,
or
you
you moved the headstones, but
but
you didn't move the bodies.
move the bodies.
And then I was confused. I'm like, okay, was that the best take that they had
I
of
know.
his
Well, they
scream?
definitely cut away
Oh my gosh,
from that.
yeah.
It was too much.
It was way too much.
Craig T was giving it his 1,000%.
Yeah, he was using those acting classes, man.
He was
trying. So
he was
hard.
that
was some schmackting for me right there.
he was emoting as fuck right
Yeah.
now. Emoting as fuck. So they're finally gonna leave this fucking house, and they get in the car, and Steven can't do anything
He
right.
can't get it
even get
together.
a key in the fucking
How
car.
many keys? Are you a janitor? How many keys are on that keychain? You got one for the house, or do you have keys for the entire neighborhood?
He
on
must.
your
keys for
keychain?
everybody's car, just in case, like,
Jesus.
oh, Mike, you lost your keys. Don't worry, I
Meanwhile,
got you
the son's
spare.
telling him to leave, to go, and the teenage daughter, what's her name, Dana,
Oh, Dana arrives
arrives.
covered in hickeys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just hot to trot.
Just covered in
hot to
hickeys.
trot. I
And
love
this
it.
is when she gets her big moment.
Yeah. And then the little brother is telling dad to leave without the sister, basically. Is
Is
what
that
is
what
happening.
oh, yeah.
Remember, he's like, go.
Well,
Just
I mean,
go, I hate
wouldn't
that
you?
bitch.
You were almost killed by a clown,
Yeah.
a tree. You were almost
Yeah.
sucked into a
Sucked into
vagina,
vagina.
closet. These kids are going to need some therapy, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. A coffin flies in onto the car, and a body like just flies onto the window. Finally, they back out. And
Finally, he gets it together and he can drive.
And they're driving off, and the house implodes.
Yes.
This is what I imagine will happen to the White House once Trump finally leaves office.
It will need to
The
implode.
White House will just collapse on itself.
And I hope it happens
gets
before he
sucked.
leaves. I
You
hope
just
it
want him to
happens,
be
like,
in
the
there.
next time he's like soundly sleeping.
The next time he's tweeting on the toilet, the
Yeah.
house just collapses.
Next time he's tweeting on his toilet, like messaging his doctor, like, I need to refill my prescription of Viagra.
Fortunately, it's covered by my insurance.
Does the U.S. government's health insurance cover? Oh, yes. Yes, it does cover. It does cover that. Yes, indeed. Not birth control, though.
No. Well, you're on your own there. Shouldn't be having sex.
Yeah. I mean, you got to let those boners go to waste. Let him get the boners.
That's
and
the
then be like,
PSA that we've all been waiting
30.
for. Don't let your boner go to waste. Talk to your doctor about the pull-out method. Okay. So the house gets sucked into a hole. And the family drives off into the sunset. Not exactly.
No.
They go to a Motel 6.
Yeah.
They try-
I like that ending better.
The one good thing at the end that he does, though.
Oh my God. I fucking love that. I love
He puts the TV outside.
I love when he
that
puts
was
the
great.
TV out. And then we have creepy children singing us
Yeah.
out into the credits.
Yep.
Final thoughts.
I thought this movie was super boring. I would never watch it ever again. But it was fine. I mean, like,
Fuck you.
there were good things about
We
it.
love
I
this
just thought it was
movie.
super boring. But also, it's probably like the most
Maybe
fucking
you should
feminist
try-
film we've watched this
Right?
podcast.
Maybe you
so-
should try watching the movie with the sound on next time.
Maybe that's what I need to do with the fucking sound on. I just thought it was a
God,
boring
this
movie.
movie's so boring. I can't hear a word they're saying.
Is this a silent film? I'm so confused.
Y'all, I literally like had my TV up on like 50 and I was like, why can I not hear this? I don't understand. And then it was just,
But you agree this is like the most feminist film we've watched this
hands down.
entire year.
Hands down, the women in this film were incredible. It was based around women and women's stories. I thought that motherhood was a huge theme in it. I like that women were the heroes in every way, shape, and form.
Yep.
Like, they are not the ones who chicken out when they see maggots in their food. They are not the ones who leave.
Nope.
And
They're
they
not the
stay and
ones who
fight the
freak out.
battle, you know? And like, I liked that a lot. But I did think this movie was so fucking boring that I just wish I had gone to bed early instead.
Okay, I feel like you should watch the remake, and then I might have
Okay,
to
watch
like, punch
the
you in the
remake
face
and
if
then
you
be
like it.
Oh, got it. I love this movie.
I think if you like the remake, I might. I mean,
Oh, I doubt I'd like the remake. I really doubt it. And I really truly just think that my problem with it is that I've seen it all before because this is the
Because
classic.
people
you know,
stole it,
and
yeah.
people stole parts
Yeah.
from this, and I really
Sure.
do think that that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Makes sense.
and I fully recognize that, but I thought this movie was super boring.
she hates it.
So
wanna talk about
Hillary
it.
hates it. It's boring. Move on.
I don't hate it. It's fine.
I love this movie. I don't know. Just watching it at 7 and then watching it again as an adult. I don't know. It's just nostalgic, probably for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would recommend this movie to anyone, especially if you have children. I think it's I'm just saying, like, I think it's a great movie for anybody, but I think it touches me in a completely different way as a parent than it did
Yeah.
when I originally saw it. And I agree. I think it's a feminist
Absolutely.
ghost story. And I
Which is
appreciate
shocking.
that.
That's
yeah.
shocking. I'm like really thrilled about that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And I adore this movie and I would watch it anytime.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where we read really well-written casting breakdowns that are super feminist.
Super feminist.
Just kidding. They're fucking nightmarish.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got today?
All right. Here, do you wanna read this
Yes,
first
this
one?
one was
Sent to us by a listener.
Sent to us by a listener. We were tagged in Instagram. So this is actually an Instagram post. Isabel supporting 25 to 32 years old, all ethnicities, female, beautiful,
far.
tall, model-like, and brilliant. Isabel is a research assistant of Paul at MIT. And then in bold, role requires possible full nudity in all caps And working with large snakes, parentheses, pythons. Actress must not have any fear of snakes.
I know a lot of models who are looking to get into some snake bits. So
Snake bits. Snake work, as
Yeah.
we like to call it
Yeah,
in
snake work.
the biz. Snake work.
That is not porn for those of you who are not in the biz like us.
No, it's actual snakes.
It's actual
Yeah,
snakes.
pythons, in fact. So thank you, listener, for sending that in.
Yeah.
Actress must not fear snakes.
Okay, this is my weird one. I'm gonna save it
Okay.
in case
All
you
right.
want to cut it
Okay.
out.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna read a different one, and we'll come back to my
Okay.
weird one.
I'm excited about the weird one.
Okay, so this one is just for corpses, chorus ensemble, female, 25 to 70.
Stop. 25 to 70?
Yes,
That's a wide
It's a
range.
wide range.
At least they're open-minded.
but no 18-year-olds.
No.
In this groundbreaking female empowerment piece,
Oh, God.
the corpses will serve as the haunting women in the morgue as Alice's job dissolves into a nightmare. They are key players, and while nudity is required, this project aims to empower women.
Well, thank God.
Special effects will also be applied so that nudity is less defined.
So, like, scars on your boobs.
Not blurs, but just less
But
defined.
maybe just, like, a casual bullet hole where your nipple should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
Um,
Well, that was special.
that one was special.
Is this the weird one?
Nope, this is just another one. I found
Okay.
a bunch, so you can.
All right,
you'll
here we
have your
go.
Selection while.
Oh,
editing.
my God. All right. Oop. It's asking me It's asking me about Tumblr. Okay, here we go. Zombie cheerleader number 1, female, 18 to 30. Though she is the most classically pretty of the zombies, zombie cheerleader number 1 is far along in the decomposition process. This doesn't stop her from flaunting what she got.
It's one of my favorites, man. I love it.
Oh, my
It's
God.
a sexy zombie.
I have to say, we had a harder time finding nervous breakdowns than usual.
Way harder time. I actually got a bunch of these off Tumblr.
Yeah, and so I don't know if the season is slow or if people are just catching on.
Maybe people are
Maybe
just catching
this
on.
kind of shit is
segment
making
really working.
No, I just mean in general, like all the
Yeah.
women who've called out bad casting breakdowns. I have to wonder if it's starting to make people rethink things a little bit and try to put their misogyny into other subtler ways in casting that don't involve the
Yeah.
actual breakdown. Hey, Feminine Mistake Podcast fans, before we jump into the plug section, I've got a couple corrections for you. You see, we often record these episodes in advance, and sometimes when you're doing a show, some information changes or you get new information. So just wanted to update you a little bit on one of the plugs that we'll be doing for Critical Crop Top in this segment. We'll be performing our brand new live sketch show, Critical Crop Top Presents Afterlife, on Saturday, October 21st at the Avondale Town Cinema at 8 p.m. and Sunday, October 22nd at the Highland Inn Ballroom at 7 p.m. We will also be doing our benefit show on October 27th at the Highland Inn Ballroom, and we have announced our charity, which will be GAIN, the Georgia Asylum and Immigration Network. It's a great cause, so visit our social media for more information. Okay, back to the show. Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about what our guests are up to and what Critical Crop Top is up to, so you can find out all the delightful things that we're putting out there to entertain you. Melissa, what would you like to plug?
Let's see. I would like to plug maybe my movie Dead Thirsty.
Thursday.
Yes, with some other people I'm sure you've worked with, Sarah Bess, Pedro.
Yes, Pedro has been in a
Pedro.
couple of our projects.
Yeah.
So it's a movie we filmed. I just filmed at Women in Horror Film Festival.
Awesome.
And yeah, you can find us at Dead Thirsty Movie on Instagram. And stay tuned. I believe I am
For more screenings. There'll
more
be more
screenings.
screenings.
And
Now,
directed
it's
by
a-
Jason Wynn.
It's a horror movie that takes place at a rave in the 90s, right?
In an abandoned hospital that we
Nice.
actually shot in Noonan.
Very scary.
It's actually the hospital that they used for The Walking Dead.
Oh,
That's so fucking
nice.
cool.
That's awesome.
Super fucking
Nice.
creepy.
Yeah, cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's about it.
Well, Dead Thirsty's a real kick-ass movie, so everybody go
Yeah.
check that out. So that's it's on Instagram. There's a website?
There's a website, deadthirsty.com.
And
Awesome.
y'all, even the promos for this fucking movie are scary.
Fucking scary.
They keep popping up in my Facebook feed, and like for months now, I've just been getting like pumped for Halloween just because of Dead Thirsty. Because
Yes.
it's like all over my Facebook, and I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it.
Get
It's-
excited about Halloween by looking for your local Dead Thirsty screening.
Yes.
Cool. All right. We didn't really talk about it, but I feel like we know what we need to
have
plug.
One thing.
We have one important thing to
The one
plug.
thing.
What would you like to? Would you like to plug it?
Yeah, we have a new sketch show coming up.
Yes!
It's called CCT After, or well, not CCT.
It's
Afterlife.
called
That's not
Critical
the actual name of the show.
Critical Cropped Up presents
Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Or hashtag CCT Afterlife.
Yep, that's our
as we
hashtag
would
for
like
that.
you
Yep.
to hashtag it.
And when is it?
Thank you, Melissa. You were so good at this. This is like normally my job to keep people on track. It is October 21st and 22nd and a special charity performance on October 27th at the Highland Inn Ballroom.
Right. So it will be a normal for the same show, same ticket price. $10 for each of those shows, including the one on the 27th. And on the 27th, we're also going to be raising money for charity. We have not announced the charity yet, but we will be raising money for charity. So it's a benefit show. So you can come see comedy, laugh your ass off, and put your money towards a good cause.
Yeah.
And we're doing that in partnership
With you
with
go
the
for
Crim-
it. The
with the
Alonzo
Crim
A.
Center.
Crim Center for Urban Educational Excellence.
Correct. Yeah. It's a great organization. We're very excited to be partnering with them for this, the final performance of our show. And it's going to be a real funny show, you guys. We got new sketches and new guest performers, and you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Our new guest performers are going to be so good, you guys. They're so fucking funny.
Yeah. So you, of course, can get all the deets by following us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
At Critical Crop Top.
And, of course, this podcast, the Feminine Mistake Podcast, we have a Facebook page at Feminine Mistake Pod. So if you've got some thoughts about Poltergeist, things we missed, things that we got wrong, or even how much you want to talk about Craig T and his hotness and his
Or
ineptness.
his
open to all of
non-existent hotness, whichever.
Whichever side of the tracks you
Debate
fall
you
on,
down yeah.
come and talk to us about that. So
And also, if you listen to this on iTunes, you can feel free to hit rate, review.
That'd be great. We'd
Give
love
us
that.
Drop us a little review. Tell us how we're
Yeah,
doing.
give
Tell
us a little tickle.
Tell us how amazing we
Give
are.
us a little tickle.
Melissa's just chewing on one of these plastic rats right now, and it's like very ominous and hilarious at the same time.
Thank you, Melissa, for being on the show.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast.
We've had a great time with you.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
happy
happy
Halloween.
Get spooky. Yes. And
And
bye.
yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye now.